Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. I'm Emma, and right here with me is your favorite co-host, Mike. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Yes. A big welcome to everyone. And we've got a fantastic topic lined up
Yeah,
today.
Mike. So here is a quick question. Uh, have you ever wondered what makes relationships, really thrive? You know, like why some people are, uh, just easier to connect with, whether it's a romantic partner, a friend, or even family? Oh, we're diving into all of that today.
Exactly. We're going to talk about practical ways to strengthen your relationships, using English, of course. And we'll also share some key phrases and tips that you can use in real-life conversations.
Right. And before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here. Get comfy and let's jump right in.
Guiding words.
All right, so let's dive into the guiding words for today. First up, we've got love languages.
Love languages are the different ways people express and feel love. There are 5 main ones, like words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, gifts, and physical touch. Oh, understanding these can really make a big difference in how we connect with others.
Yeah, I've noticed that when people get this right, it's like their relationships just flow better. Like, someone who loves quality time won't feel valued if you only shower them with gifts. Makes sense, right? Next up, we've got active listening.
Oh, this one's super important. Active listening means fully focusing on what the other person is saying without just waiting for your turn to talk. It's about showing that you genuinely care about their thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I've been guilty of not listening sometimes, and it really does make a difference when you put effort into paying attention. You can actually feel the other person's relief when they're truly heard. All right, now let's talk about boundaries.
So, boundaries are about setting limits. What's okay and not okay in a relationship? Oh, they're really important for maintaining mutual respect and understanding. Without clear boundaries, relationships can easily fall apart.
Yeah, and I've noticed that people who set boundaries actually have stronger relationships. It's like a paradox, but respecting each other's space really brings people closer. Next on the list, we've got empathy.
Empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes, really understanding and feeling what they're going through. It's such a powerful way to connect on a deeper level.
Oh, totally. Sometimes just saying, I get how you feel can make someone feel so supported. It's like the glue that holds relationships together. Finally, let's talk about conflict resolution.
Conflict resolution is finding peaceful solutions to disagreements. It's about working together to understand the problem, instead of just trying to win an argument.
Yeah, I think this one is huge. When you focus on resolving the issue instead of proving you're right, it strengthens the relationship. It's definitely a skill worth practicing.
So, those are our guiding words for today. So let's keep them in mind as we dive into our dialogue.
All right, everyone, we're excited to introduce our special guest today. Please welcome Jane, a counselor and communication expert who's here to share insights about strengthening relationships.
Hi, Mike and Emma. Thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to join you.
We're so happy you're here, Jane. Today we're exploring how relationships, whether romantic, friendly, or family, can thrive when we focus on things like trust, communication, and empathy. What's your take on why these are so crucial?
Oh, such a great topic. Trust, communication, and empathy are the backbone of any healthy relationship. When you work on these areas, you create stronger bonds and build connections that last.
That makes so much sense. It's like without those, relationships can start to crumble over time, right?
Exactly, Mike. And focusing on simple things like active listening or respecting boundaries can really change the dynamic for the better.
Such great insights, Jane. We can't wait for our listeners to hear more about this as we dive into our stories.
Thanks, Jane. Now, let's bring these ideas to life with a dialogue between James and Sarah trying to ignite their relationship.
James, can we talk for a bit? I feel like our bond has been a little distant lately, and I want us to work on understanding each other better.
Of course, Sarah. What's on your mind? I hope I haven't done anything to make you feel this way.
It's not about anything you've done intentionally, James. It's just that I've been missing the intimacy we used to share. I want us to reconnect and strengthen our trust.
Sarah, you're right. I haven't been as present as I should be. Work has been overwhelming, and I realize I haven't been showing you the support you deserve.
I understand that work is stressful, James, and I really appreciate all that you do for us. But I think if we can improve our communication and show more empathy for each other's feelings, we'll feel closer again.
You're absolutely right. I haven't been good at expressing myself lately, and I know that's hurt our bond. I want to do better because I love you and respect everything you bring to our relationship.
Thank you for saying that, James. I think if we both commit to open and honest communication, we can rebuild that intimacy and make our relationship even stronger.
Definitely. Let's start making time each week to check in with each other. I think showing gratitude for the small things and being more present will really help us grow.
I'd love that, James. I feel so grateful to have someone who's willing to put in the effort to make our bond stronger.
And I feel the same way, Sarah. Together, with trust and love, we can overcome anything.
Key phrases.
All right, let's dive into the key phrases we just heard in the story. These words are, so important for understanding and improving relationships. Jane, we'd love for you to, join us in breaking these down.
Of course, Emma. I'm excited to unpack these terms.
Let's start with love. In the dialogue, Sarah said, "I love you." But it wasn't just words. It was the way she showed her commitment to the relationship. Jane, how do you think love works as a foundation?
Great point, Mike. Love is the emotional connection that motivates us to invest in relationships. It was clear that Sarah's love for James helped her approach the conversation with patience and care instead of anger or frustration.
And then we heard trust. Sarah and James talked about how trust is essential for intimacy. Sarah said she wanted to rebuild trust by being open and honest. Jane, why is trust so important?
Trust is the glue that holds relationships together. In the dialogue, Sarah's honesty and James's willingness to listen showed a mutual effort to rebuild trust. Without it, intimacy starts to fade.
Speaking of intimacy, that's another key phrase. In the story, Sarah mentioned she missed the intimacy they used to share. Emma, how do you think intimacy ties into emotional connections?
Oh, intimacy is all about feeling close and connected, emotionally, mentally, or physically. In the dialogue, Sarah expressed her need for emotional intimacy, and that's what started the conversation.
Exactly, Emma. And intimacy grows when both partners feel heard and understood, like in the way Sarah and James communicated.
Speaking of communication, that's the next one. James admitted he hadn't been expressing himself well, and they both worked on, being more open. Jane, why do you think communication is so tricky for some people?
Communication can be challenging because people often assume their partner knows what they're thinking or feeling. In the dialogue, Sarah was clear about her feelings, and James responded with vulnerability. That's what good communication looks like.
Right, and that ties into support. James acknowledged he hadn't been providing the support Sarah needed. Jane, how can showing support impact a relationship?
Support shows that you're present and reliable. In the story, James's offer to set aside time for weekly conversations showed his commitment to being there for Sarah, which helps rebuild their bond.
That brings us to respect. In the dialogue, they both spoke with respect, even while addressing tough issues. Jane, why is respect so vital?
Respect is about valuing the other person's feelings and boundaries. It creates a safe space for honest conversations, like Sarah and James had in the dialogue. Without respect, conflicts can escalate instead of being resolved.
Another key phrase was empathy. Sarah showed empathy by acknowledging James's work stress. Jane, what role does empathy play here?
Empathy is about truly understanding the other person's perspective. By showing empathy, Sarah made James feel seen and less defensive. That's a game changer in resolving conflicts.
And then there's gratitude. Sarah thanked James for his willingness to work on the relationship. Jane, how does gratitude strengthen a bond?
Gratitude fosters positivity. By expressing appreciation, Sarah made James feel valued, which motivated him to keep working on their relationship.
Finally, we had understanding. In the dialogue, both Sarah and James worked to, understand each other's feelings. Jane, why is this important?
Understanding bridges gaps. It helps you move past assumptions and build deeper connections. In the dialogue, their mutual understanding set the stage for resolving their issues.
Wow, these terms really came to life in the story. Thanks for walking us through them, Jane. Let's give our listeners some tips on how to use these in their own lives.
Tips for effective communication in relationships.
All right, let's share some practical tips to help our listeners use these key concepts in their own relationships. These tips can be applied to romantic, friendly, or family connections.
Yeah, communication is at the heart of all of this. Jane, can you share a tip about active listening? It seems so important in the story.
Absolutely, Mike. Active listening means really focusing on what the other person is saying without preparing your response in your head. It's about showing empathy and making the other person feel heard.
That's so true. Another tip is to express gratitude regularly. Like Sarah did, just thanking someone for their effort can go a long way in strengthening a bond.
Oh, totally agree, Emma. And respecting boundaries is another big one. Jane, any advice on how to set and maintain boundaries respectfully?
Sure, Mike. Setting boundaries is about being clear about your needs and limits while respecting the other person's. For example, you might say, I need some time to process this, but I value your input. This keeps communication open while honoring your feelings.
That's such great advice, Jane. And let's not forget about conflict resolution. Addressing conflicts calmly and constructively can prevent small issues from turning into bigger problems.
Exactly. Instead of focusing on who's right, like Jane said earlier, focus on understanding the other person's perspective and finding a solution together.
And don't underestimate the power of showing support. Even small gestures, like offering to help or just being there to listen, can make a huge difference.
These are all such helpful tips. I hope our listeners can take these and start applying them to their own relationships right away.
Definitely, Emma. It's all about making small, consistent efforts to improve communication, trust, and understanding.
Tip of the day.
All right, listeners, today's tip of the day is communication.
Yeah, communication is the foundation of every connection, whether it's romantic, friendly, or family relationships. Without it, things can easily fall apart.
Exactly. Communication allows us to express our needs, share our feelings, and understand the other person better. It's what keeps trust and empathy alive in a relationship.
Right. And good communication isn't just about talking. It's also about listening. When we really listen, we show respect and support, which strengthens the bond we share with others.
And when conflicts arise, communication helps us address issues constructively rather than letting them grow into bigger problems. It's such a simple concept, but its impact on relationships is truly transformative.
Absolutely, Emma. So, our tip of the day is this. Focus on communication. Whether it's a heartfelt conversation or just being present to listen, it's the key to stronger, healthier relationships.
Audio recap. Key phrases in action.
Love.
Love is a deep affection or care for someone that forms the foundation of relationships. Example, I love the way he communicates openly about his feelings.
Trust.
Trust is the confidence and belief in someone's reliability and integrity. Example, I trust her to always have my best interests at heart. Communication. Communication is the exchange of thoughts, feelings, and information between people. Example, good communication is what keeps our friendships so strong. Respect. Respect is the regard and appreciation for someone's feelings, opinions, and boundaries. Example, I respect her decision to take time for herself. Empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. Example, he showed empathy by listening to me without judgment. Intimacy. Intimacy is the closeness and deep connection between individuals, often emotional or physical. Example, our conversations build the emotional intimacy we cherish in our relationship. Active listening. Active listening is fully concentrating on what someone is saying rather than just hearing them. Example, she practices active listening, which makes me feel truly understood. Honesty. Honesty is the quality of being truthful and transparent in interactions. Example, honesty is why we can resolve our conflicts so easily. Boundaries. Boundaries are limits set to protect personal space, emotions, and comfort. Example, setting boundaries has helped us maintain a healthy relationship. Support. Support is the act of providing help, encouragement, and care to someone. Example, he always shows support by cheering me on during tough times.
Wow, what an episode. Today we covered so much about people and relationships, whether it's romantic, friendly, or family connections.
Yeah, Emma, we talked about key phrases like trust, communication, empathy, and gratitude, and we explored how they play out in real-life scenarios.
And Jane, your insights were so valuable. Thank you for helping us break down these concepts and showing us how to apply them.
It was such a pleasure, Emma and Mike. I hope the listeners take these tips to heart and start building even stronger relationships.
Absolutely. And to all our listeners, remember today's tip of the day: focus on communication. It's the foundation for trust, intimacy, and understanding in every relationship. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to like and share this video. Leave us a review in the comments. We would love to hear your thoughts and even share some of your experiences.
And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out on the upcoming episodes. Thanks for tuning in. See you next time.